Motorcycle Club, I'd like to welcome everybody out here today that's attending our ceremony. Thank you very much for coming. Especially like to thank all of our brothers, sisters, and friends that traveled many miles from the northern country just to join us for our special event today. This time I'd like to ask Kathy to come up, chaplain, and give our invocation.
Bear with me, I just found out I have to do this. Can you please join hands if possible and bow your heads. Gracious God, standing before you, joined hearts, hands, minds, warriors, and those who love them. These are a rare breed standing before you. They're a rarity in this nation. They were willing to lay down their lives for the sake of their friends, for the sake of their countrymen. And they all served. Guide them, hold them, keep them in the hearts and minds of all the countrymen. And let them know they are truly loved and truly blessed and created with the warrior spirit. Amen.
Amen.
We now have the presentation of the colors by the Orlando Police Department Color Guard. I'd ask everyone to uncover and join me as we pledge allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Cody. In the summer of 1989, a small group of Harley-riding combat veterans of the Vietnam War, who were also police officers, banded together to form the Nam Knights. The club was founded in New Jersey by Jack Quigley, now retired Undersheriff of Bergen County Sheriff's Department. Jack served as a platoon sergeant with the 11th Motor Transport Battalion, 1st Marine Division. Today, the Nam Knights of America Motorcycle Club has grown to 37 chapters in 10 states and 1 Canadian province, with hundreds of members made up of veterans of all eras, as well as law enforcement personnel, plus a few special dedicated civilians. As Jack has said, the club was formed to recapture the brotherhood its founding members shared while serving in Southeast Asia, and to help other veterans of all wars who are unable to physically or financially help themselves. The mission of the Nam Knights is to honor the memory of American veterans and police officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty, to assist veterans and police officers in their time of need, and to promote community awareness through sponsorship and participation in various community and fundraising events. The Nam Knights Motorcycle Club continues to grow and thrives due to the extraordinary dedication of its members, their families, and our benevolent supporters. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm welcome to the founder of the Nam Knights Motorcycle Club, Mr. Jack Quigley.
You know, 20 years ago, if someone told me I'd be out here doing this, where I'm doing it, I would have told them that there's not a snowball's chance in hell that was ever going to happen. I got to tell you, there's probably a hell of a snowball fight going on down there now. Maybe we put the fire out. After serving as the founder and first president, I thought maybe we'd have 15, 20 guys sharing brotherhood, being comfortable with our fellow warriors, and doing some good for those who are unable to help themselves, whether it's families of law enforcement or veterans. And that was our goal, and that's what we started out doing. Well, after the charter membership got rolling, we started to grow, and not by soliciting, not by looking for members, just by going out and doing things, charitable work, appearing in public. And we were approached by a number of people, and that's how the club started to grow. After I took a needed break as president, Buddy Gibson took over as the second president of the club, and under his leadership, the club began to grow. Buddy, are you out there? Where are you? There's a guy that deserves a big hand. Each and every chapter has followed the traditions we started. After Buddy served, Fred Ryman, Fred, where are you? You're around here somewhere.
Right behind you.
Sneaking up on me. Fred took over longest serving president in the club, and he has watched the club grow even further to the number of chapters and the amount of people we have today. It's just phenomenal. And wherever we go, it's like being in your home chapter. And I guess it was a bit selfish of me because I like to surround myself with men of courage, patriots, men that I don't have to worry that if something happens to the president, they're going to run the other way. These are the guys that run towards the guns. And Pat Childers from other clubs know what I'm talking about. Men with great intestinal fortitude that you share your passion with. Men that you did it before. Joseph Chamberlain was a British statesman who died in 1914. And I searched far and wide for an appropriate quote for today. And I spent weeks on the computer, at work, of course, not on my own time. And I found a quote that could not be more appropriate. He said, "Courage is rightly esteemed the first of human qualities, and because it is the quality which guarantees all others." Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Hey, bro.
The President of the United States, in the name of the Congress, takes pleasure in presenting the Medal of Honor to Sammy L. Davis, Sergeant U.S. Army, Battery C, 2nd Battalion, 4th Artillery, 9th Infantry Division. Place and date west of Kalai, Republic of Vietnam, 18 November 1967. Entered service in Indianapolis, Indiana. Sammy was born 1 November 1946 in Dayton, Ohio. The citation reads, "For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action at the risk of his life and beyond the call of duty, Sergeant Davis, who was then PFC, distinguished himself during the early morning hours while serving as cannoneer with Battery C at a remote fire support base. At approximately 200 hours, the fire support base was under heavy enemy mortar attack. Simultaneously, an estimated reinforced Viet Cong battalion launched a fierce ground assault upon the fire support base. The attacking enemy drove to within 25 meters of the friendly positions. Only a river separated the Viet Cong from the fire support base. Detecting a nearby enemy position, Sergeant Davis seized a machine gun and provided covering fire for his gun crew as they attempted to bring direct military artillery fire on the enemy. Despite his efforts, an enemy recoilless rifle round scored a direct hit upon the artillery piece. The resultant blast hurled the gun crew from their weapon and blew Sergeant Davis into a foxhole. He struggled to his feet and returned to the howitzer, which was burning furiously. Ignoring repeated warnings to seek cover, Sergeant Davis rammed a shell into the gun. Disregarding a withering hail of enemy fire directed against his position, he aimed and fired the howitzer, which rolled backward, knocking Sergeant Davis violently to the ground. Undaunted, he returned to the weapon to fire again, and when enemy mortar round exploded within 20 meters of his position, he was injured painfully. Nevertheless, Sergeant Davis loaded the artillery piece, aimed and fired. Again, he was knocked down by the recoil. In complete disregard for his safety, Sergeant Davis loaded and fired 3 more shells into the enemy. Disregarding his extensive injuries and his inability to swim, Sergeant Davis picked up an air mattress and struck out across the deep river to rescue 3 wounded comrades on the far side. Upon reaching the 3 wounded men, he stood upright and fired into the dense vegetation to prevent the Viet Cong from advancing. While the most seriously wounded soldier was helped across the river, Sergeant Davis protected the 2 remaining casualties until he could pull them across the river to the fire support base. Though suffering from painful wounds, he refused medical attention, joining another howitzer crew which fired at the large Viet Cong force until it broke contact and fled. Sergeant Davis' extraordinary heroism at the risk of his life are in keeping with the highest traditions of the military service and reflect great credit upon himself and the U.S. Army.